Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hi, Mummy Bear.
What a busy weekend we've had.
We've had a very busy weekend. We had a lovely friend over.
Gorgeous friend.
And so we have been preparing, making things look nice, especially the garden, because you always want the garden just to look lovely for when a friend comes over.
Well, you want them to enjoy it with you, don't
Yeah.
you? And whilst we can turn a blind eye to some of the messier parts,
just don't look that way.
Yeah, you want your friend to be able to just come and chill and enjoy it.
Exactly.
So it involved a lot of sweeping of terraces, a lot of cleaning of terraces, a lot of weeding of terraces.
A lot of weeding of terraces. Yeah, that was, and also potting up little plants which looked really pretty on tables. So I put in a little terracotta pot, I put this really pretty pink flower, and then you bought this beautiful daisy.
Oh, that's really nice.
Pink, dark pink, and I put it in this little pot on the kind of more tropically / covered, kind of more shady
it's a covered
terrace.
terrace, isn't it? So
yeah,
it's quite dry.
It's very nice, and I put it on there, and it kind of cascades over this pot on the table, and it looks really pretty because everything in that area is greens. It's green. It's the green area.
And then having the pinks.
It looks really lovely.
But we always put a flowered pot plant on all our different tables on all our different terraces, because it's kind of like having a vase of flowers in the house on the table. And it's just gives that little bit of colour and makes it feel like a proper living space outside.
Mm-hmm. And especially if you ever want to change it to a different plant, you just pop that plant in the ground and boom.
Yep.
Robert's your father's uncle. No, wrong word.
Robert's your father's brother.
Robert's your father's brother. There we go. And you've got more plants in the garden, which is always great.
Exactly. But we had a lovely weekend with her. It was very nice weather, and we did get to sit back and enjoy the garden instead of just working in it. So rosé was consumed.
Yes.
On a couple of the terraces. We got to sit by the pond on the bench.
Oh,
that was nice, except when we both sat down on the bench,
it
did sink forward and we did slide slightly. So there's still some work to be done on that one.
We haven't quite figured out how to do that yet.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
We still enjoyed it. So that was lovely, wasn't it? It was a nice work-free weekend.
It was. And now we're chilling and enjoying it. And we're walking out to the garden going, oh, it's looking very nice.
Yes. But something that came up this weekend, Sweet Pea, was the new series of Taskmaster, which we absolutely love.
Oh.
If anyone is looking for a really fun, happy series to watch on TV.
Very wholesome as well.
It's wholesome. There's definitely a vibe amongst all the comedians, just to keep it really friendly and really lovely and just laugh at themselves. There's a bit of banter, but there's never anything nasty said between people. It's just really, really nice.
It is lovely. We've always said we really want to go on Taskmaster.
No, you've always said you want to go on Taskmaster.
What? I thought you wanted to go on Taskmaster. No, I don't.
Because you like being centre of attention on a stage, whereas I really don't. I don't want to be up there on the stage.
You're quite shy with those things, and I'm just like, hello, people.
Sweepy in the house.
Sweepy in the casa.
So it's run by Alex Horner. He's the brains behind it. And there's Greg Davies. And we won't bother explaining the concept because it's much better explained online.
And it's very crazy.
It's really, really enjoyable. There are 5 new comedians. And we were watching it, and they have to carry out various tasks. And you suddenly said, oh my goodness.
Hold on a tickety-poo.
This is that place we saw the other week. And it was filmed at Painshill Park.
Oh my gosh. I recognised the little kind of building that they had, the mini church
sort of
thing.
Yeah, bandstand type thing almost.
Yeah, sorry, more like that.
Oh no, I don't know if it wasn't a bandstand.
And it's made to look like it's stone, but it's actually wood.
Yeah.
Because to keep the costs down.
Wood and plaster.
Yeah, wood and plaster. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then you saw the view of the beautiful lake behind, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It.
So that the whole series is going to have episodes there at Painshill Park. So because each year they have a different location. I think they had a closed terminal from Gatwick Airport, was it, or Heathrow? Anyway, so they had the entire run of a closed terminal for one series of Taskmaster. But this year it's going to be at Painshill Park throughout. So
brilliant.
If you want to check out more of Painshill Park, then watch Taskmaster. Also, if you just want to have light-hearted laugh and give it time. Give it time. We've been watching it since the first series.
We have.
but give it time. It's a grower and it's hilarious.
It is brilliant. You will love it.
Now, I had some housekeeping from last week.
Oh, yeah. What have we got?
Wisteria. So
yes.
I was wondering about wisteria and which direction it grows.
Yeah.
And Francis was talking about some go clockwise, some go anti-clockwise. Yeah. And I said, I thought I'd heard that it was if it was from Japan, it went one way, and if it was from China, it was from the other.
Oh, good.
And
yes.
It's sort of right. So it's the Wisteria sinensis is actually a Chinese wisteria.
Okay.
And that twines anti-clockwise.
Yes.
And then the Wisteria floribunda is a Japanese wisteria, and that twines clockwise.
Okay.
So it's sort of right, but it's based on the
variety.
Yes. Okie dokes. So before we get into the episode, we've got some fun facts.
We have, yes.
Have you got any interesting plant fun facts this week, Sweet Pea?
Well, do you remember last year, Rachel did those beautiful episodes all about flowers and pollinators, and this beautiful kind of love story between them and how they have both evolved over time and looked amazing. And I have an oral to do, kind of like a thesis on a certain topic that we have been doing in biology over the years, and everyone's kind of gone on to doing stuff because we've got lots of people who like sport in my class, so they're doing a lot of kind of sport and learning about muscles.
Right.
We did that in biology, so the kind of all that part of things,
which is really interesting,
which is also really interesting. Thing with biology, I was finding it so hard to choose a topic. I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many interesting things.
It's all fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's all relevant
completely. Anyways, I wanted to stick out from the crowd and
like to be centre of attention.
And no one was going to do anything on plants, and I thought, well, that is just mad. Crazy. So I thought I'm going to do my kind of oral on plants and understanding what pollinators are wanting from a plant. And so I go through a kind of very organised presentation of pigments, of flower form, of fragrance, all those kind of things, of luring in a pollinator so that the plant gets what it needs, the pollinator gets what it needs, etc., etc.
And you're just doing insect pollinators?
Just doing insect pollinators, because otherwise I could go on forever, and it's got to be 10 minutes of speaking.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it is
no time to talk about bats and
no, exactly,
birds.
Which is also really interesting. And I only slightly pick up on the fact that certain fragrances such as rotting meat are specifically for all the kind of flies and them, because they obviously they like that smell and are attracted to it. But anyways, I looked up about how a large amount of campions, and especially bladder campions, so they have that big bulbous butt and then the little flower kind of comes at the top. They're really cute. I think they're absolutely adorable, and they're slightly veiny as well. I don't know why.
Bulbous veiny butt.
Bulbous veiny butt. Oh gosh. But because in my presentation I'm talking about moths and bees, because I wanted to get at night time and in the day. So moths pollinate these bladder campions, and the bladder campions, they release an odour a lot like a kind of fragrance like clover,
right?
That kind of fragrance at night, only at night, and then it lures in the pollinator, and as soon as the pollinator, the moth, pollinates the bladder campion, the fragrance changes.
Wow.
So that then other pollinators, other moths will know that one has been pollinated, and therefore they go to another flower. So they literally will follow the scent, the correct scent.
So
which
that's
is really
so
cool.
Interesting. So it's like the plants that pollinators rely on sight to find.
Colour.
So colour, where they change the colour, and then those ones that Francis talked about last week with the wisteria, how the flower will turn 180 degrees.
That is so cool as well.
So at night the flower will change its scent.
Yeah.
How interesting.
I thought that was so cool.
I wonder if it's something that we as humans can identify, so we'd be able to smell.
Yeah,
that's been pollinated, that hasn't been pollinated.
Yeah, there are many, and I was looking this up, there are many scents that we cannot smell.
Right. Oh.
But
that's disappointing. Isn't
it? but that insects can smell very easily.
Humans have really lost so much of their instinct.
Oh,
we can't smell as much,
sad.
We can't see as much, we can't hear as much.
Yeah. What is it that they say about humans, how we're only using so much of our brain, a certain percentage of our brain?
Yeah.
And what would happen if we could use...
And I think that really varies human to human as well.
I think so.
Well, that's a really interesting fact.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, of course, because they're doing everything else.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't scent come into play as well?
I just think it's so brilliant. And I'm going to actually talk about that wisteria changing the rotation of the head, the flower head, because that is also really interesting. God, I've got so much to say in 10 minutes. So much to
say, you're not going to fit it into 10 minutes. But talking of the scent, it reminds me of our friend who came to stay. She's battling a really sweet little front garden with gorgeous things in it. And then a beautiful looking plant started to grow. And she asked me if I knew what it was. And I thought it was the Dronunculus vulgaris. And she was very excited because the photos of it are absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
One day I got all these messages from her, quite abusive messages,
very
saying
abusive.
you didn't tell me this was going to smell of rotten meat. And all the flies in the town were coming to her front garden. So she tried to get rid of it.
Yep.
And then she covered it with gravel and hoped it would go away. It seemed to have disappeared. And where there was 1 shoot last year, there are now 5 shoots coming up with this thing.
So what was it that you said to her? You said to her, well, at least kind of let it flower. And then...
Well, I wanted her to let it flower and so she could take a photo because I really wanted to see what it looked like. But she's absolutely refusing, which is a shame. But if you have a look online at what a Dronunculus looks like, it's a really stunning plant.
It is very pretty.
And I said it would just attract all the flies away from her house into the garden. She said, I don't have any flies in my house. Unlike us, who have a lot of flies in the house.
I feel really sorry for her.
Anyway, well, my animal fun fact do you have? There's a type of dog which is a pest control dog. Not in terms of rats or anything like that, but actually insects. It's an insectivorous dog native to East and Southern Africa, and it's called the aardwolf, which is Afrikaans for earth wolf.
That is so cool.
And it's insectivorous. It's kind of like a dog hyena type thing with stripes and really long hackles.
Wow.
About sort of Hobbesy size.
She has really cool hackles.
And it's not at all threatening to humans. It's just considered really important in keeping insect populations down.
Oh, that is really sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Right, well, I think we've got a lot to get through on this recap of Gardener's World. There was so much interesting stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a load of information in this
Loads and loads, so we should get stuck into it.
Absolutely.
This is Gardener's World 2025, Episode 8 recap.
Off we go.
Instead of being at Longmeadow with Ned and Monty, we're based at Malverleys this week.
Yeah, we are.
And this is described at the beginning as a 14-year transformation from a hodgepodge of fields and football pitches to one of UK's most exciting and beautiful gardens, but not readily available for people to go see.
No, which
was a bit upsetting.
Very sad as well. I was like, oh, I really want to go there.
So you've got just acres and acres.
Yeah.
It was 10 acres in total, and it was a blank canvas essentially that Head Gardener Mat Reese got to work on. And he moved there 14 years ago with his family. So that's with his wife Jess and children Claude and Lorelei. Gorgeous name, Lorelei.
I thought that was
Claude's gorgeous too. But...
Yeah, but Lorelei, that's
very
a beautiful name.
Beautiful shot at the beginning from above, a drone shot, and then you've got all these white birds, which I thought at first had been computer generated.
Same.
They looked so unreal. But we see them again later, and I think I saw a dovecot, so I expect they've got a lot of doves flying around there.
Oh, because I was about to say, I've gone as well trying out some kind of fluttery birds coming past.
I was a bit disappointed when I thought it was that, but I think it was actually doves.
Oh, well, that's even cooler.
Much cooler.
What I loved especially, and I think everyone loves this, is having the different rooms in a garden.
Yes.
And they're all English flower gardens as well, so it's staying very British, and I thought that was rather lovely. And then there's like informal ones, more formal ones, and so we've got all sorts going on in this one huge garden.
So we started in the white garden with Rachel, didn't we?
Yeah, white garden with some camassias in there. So we had a slight bit of blue just to add a bit of oomph.
A little bit of oomph.
But the really pretty tulips with that kind of coconut edge top to them, you know, sprinkling of desiccated coconut.
Yes. Oh, that's a good way of describing it.
That look. There are so many tulips like that, which have that pretty kind of serrated edge.
Oh, I love tulips.
Yeah.
And then Joe was in the stumpery.
Oh, fell in love with the stumpery. Wasn't that amazing? That was a stumpery to next level. All the huge, stumps, I'm going to call them.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, everywhere. And he just walked along and didn't it look so calm and amazing?
And something that was mentioned was that Matt wants to grow rare plants, not just beautiful plants.
Yeah.
So you've got really quite an interesting amount of plants in there. And I did read up in an article that they're actually trying to create a database.
Oh, yeah.
That should then be available on the website, the Malverleys website, that will contain all the plants that are in this garden.
That's amazing.
Which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? I'd love to see that.
It would be like this huge bank of kind of plants.
Yeah, exactly.
So you would know, you could go, if you're able to see the garden, you could go, oh, I like that plant, that plant, that plant.
Yeah.
And go onto the database and have a look at that.
And identify it.
Yeah. And in one garden, I think this was called the Cool Garden.
Yeah.
Which Joe thought were for cool dudes. But
Joe was so funny through all this. There was so much cheeky pants coming from him. Is it called the Cool Garden because only cool people are allowed in here? He has these moments of just going off piste.
He does. It was really funny. I thought, yes, it is for cool people. And then I was like, and it's for you, Joe. You are the cool dude.
He is such a cool dude. I love Joe.
He's a cool dude.
It's completely the kind of immaturity I'm here for.
Yeah.
There were those beautiful Merlot tulips.
Yeah, I loved those. Really deep kind of crimson colour. There was the Poplus albus, that was rather pretty. That was being cut very hard back. And also Joe was adding poppies in.
Yeah.
Looked really healthy. And there were magnolias and dogwoods in the background.
Lovely. And then Rachel was wheeling a barrow full of mulch into the stream garden.
Another beautiful area. I love those little bridges that are just kind of made from a plank or something. I think that's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was mulching around all these kind of little beautiful shoots coming up. I'm not entirely sure what they were, but she did talk about deciduous trees above, aces around, and this Stachyurus chinensis, which I have never seen anything so beautiful.
You've seen this though.
Have I?
So this bit answered a 2-year-old question I've had.
A 2-year-old? That's impossible. 2-year-old question.
I've had longer questions than that, trust me.
Yeah.
But do you remember we were doing a walk with friends in a place called Byberry in the Cotswolds a couple of years ago?
Oh, yep.
And I took a photo of a tree that was hanging over a bridge just as you come towards the end of the walk. So a really tall tree.
Yeah.
And it had all these dangling kind of catkin type things. And I thought, are they catkins? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And they'd just gone over, so they weren't as pretty as on the tree that Rachel was pointing to.
No, they weren't like the curtains of gold.
No, they'd gone darker by then. Well, that was it.
That was it.
That was this tree.
Oh.
So finally I found out what it is.
Oh, brilliant.
So if you want to see a really mature version, head over to Byberry.
Oh.
In the Cotswolds.
Yes. And then Rachel went over to go see Jess in the glass house.
In Jess's domain.
Yes.
Reminded me of your domain.
I am very on board with the domain. And they decided to split and kind of pot up and kind of look after a bit the Cymbidium orchids that had kind of clumped together in these pots.
And Jess herself is also, she's been working in horticulture for 25 years, so
there's a lot
she's of course Matt's wife.
There's a lot of knowledge in everybody's brains.
There's a lot of knowledge. And she had an interesting accent, but then you find out she began her horticultural career in America in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And apparently that's when they brought Matt over to help with installing a border there, and she remembers, I like this, she remembers running past the long border, which sounded familiar, Sweet Pea.
Yeah, running.
And seeing Matt and being completely smitten.
Oh.
Isn't that sweet?
That's so gorgeous.
Anyway, they're at this beautifully prepared table, aren't they, with all their different piles of ingredients.
Yeah.
And then they start soaring through the middle of these orchids, which you always think of treating orchids quite gently, but they said they're really quite robust. So just using a bread knife.
I love that. I think with splitting plants, especially ones that are absolutely fine with it, just hack them. Go for it. Chow, bit by bit, each bit, and it gets the job done nice and easily.
And Jess mentioned you pull off all the dead leaves because orchids are susceptible to scale insects and mealybugs. Apparently they both love orchids.
Yeah.
So you want to get all the air in.
I do find that I do that a lot in the greenhouse. I have lots of different succulents and lots of different kind of plants that stay in there. And I love getting all of the brown leaves away and just cleaning them up.
It's quite satisfying, isn't it?
It's really satisfying.
Did you get the potting mixture that was used?
No, I didn't.
So that was multi-purpose to help hold in the moisture, perlite to make sure it doesn't stay too wet, and then the bark to keep everything free draining.
Gotcha.
Then they churned it all up like they were making a massive cake.
Yeah, said that an egg was needed. I did think an egg was needed. A little bit of milk as well.
Interesting concept.
Yeah.
And then they put some in a pot, and then Jess puts in some slow release fertiliser before then putting in the piece of orchid that they've chopped off.
Yeah, exactly.
Filling it in with soil.
So they had a load of plants left over.
Yeah. And Jess said how if you have them in the house, they like a bit of dappled light and no scorching sun. So really as if they were in nature, because, they grow off trees. So they're always going to be in a dappled light, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, Matt and Joe popped past.
Another bit of cheeky bounce with Rachel.
Yeah, just said a quick hello. And then Matt gave a really good kind of masterclass on sowing seeds, very fine seeds in pots. So he had this...
Very specific.
Yeah, he had this Matiola incarna, which I've never seen before. And he was so very, very fine seeds. So he had compost in a pot, gently patted it down. He said, "No, don't put your elbow into it, just gently with your fingertips."
Well, he said with your fingertips rather than your thumbs, because if you use your thumbs, you can have a tendency to really get your shoulders into it. Whereas fingers, you're just sort of pressing down.
Pat.
And also he had mentioned about the difference between finer seeds and bigger seeds. How finer seeds
on the surface
don't have the energy in them to push through so much soil, so keep them more surface level.
Exactly. And then he also said, remember, do put the seeds round the rim because there's the best drainage there. Yeah. Even though you think, I kind of want them in the middle or whatever. Yeah. It's good to have them right on the edge, and then you get a good clump of seedlings. And then he said, with these ones, very, very lightly cover them like sugar dust.
Well, he sieved some on top, didn't he?
Exactly.
And then he used the base of a pot
to
flatten it down.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of emphasis on keeping everything flat because
horizontal
of seeds washing from one side of the pot to the other. I don't think we're careful enough around all that sort of thing.
No, but I'm not sure I'm ever going to be that careful unless it is my job to do so,
right?
Because I just do not have the time to be taking that long over one pot of seeds when I'm just like, right, I've got stuff to do. I want this, and especially this time of year when you've got so many seeds to sow.
Yeah, you got to choose your battles, haven't you? And that was another battle, was the whole watering. So you water away for the initial sort of burst of water that comes from the rows of your watering can, then you water over, and then water away again for the final drips.
Yeah,
all to stop the seeds being disturbed.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of kind of perfecting your craft when it comes to seed sowing.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen so much involvement.
And finally, he marked it all with a 2B pencil.
Oh my goodness me. I mean, again, I think Joe thought he was joking.
Yeah, he did.
Because he said a 2B is the ultimate pencil. And you can tell Joe just thought, again, it was some more banter because he was already in a jovial mood with Matt. But Matt was deadly serious. He said a 1B is just too hard and a 3B is just too soft.
Yeah, so bang in the middle.
Well, we obviously keep going back to Malverleys, but some background stuff I found out about the place.
Yes.
On their website, they do actually offer tours of the garden.
Oh, really?
So it seems it's not quite as exclusive as they mentioned on Garden as well. There were dates twice a month throughout the summer.
Yeah.
But that's when I first looked, and then as I was looking, a message came up and it said, due to unprecedented demand, all other dates are sold out. We'll be adding others on Wednesday the 7th. So obviously, I think everyone went from Gardener's World and jumped on the website and tried to book tours. The tours are £75 and it includes lunch.
Oh.
And this is the itinerary. So 11:30, prompt arrival at the farm shop. The bakery's open from 9 a.m. for drinks and pastries.
Oh, lovely.
11:40, the tour departs. 12:45, question time. 1:15, a 2-course lunch served in the farm restaurant using produce from their veg garden.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
2:45, a market garden tour with head grower Ollie, and then 3:30 the day finishes.
Wow.
So you can get a decent tour of the garden plus a nice lunch.
That sounds like a really nice outing.
It does, doesn't it? And Malverleys is in Newbury, so that's sort of... I think that's kind of west of London direction. Not a million miles from London. I'd say it's within the commuter belt of London.
Gotcha, okay.
Malverley is owned by Georg von Opel.
Oh, who is that?
He's described as a German-born Swiss billionaire.
Wow.
Financier, and he's great-grandson of Adam Opel, who founded the German car manufacturer Opel AG.
Oh.
He's also a major donor of the UK's Conservative Party. This is what's written in his kind of biography.
Okie dokes.
And he's married to his British-born wife, who's a former professional tennis player, Emily Bond, and they have 5 children. So at least there are a few children enjoying those acres of land.
Yeah. Wow.
Plus Matt's 2 kids.
What a place. Can you imagine growing up?
Can you imagine
there?
Growing up there? And an article in the Telegraph in 2009 described Malverleys as a property of the highest recorded price rise. So it rose by almost £1 million a year over the course of the decade. It's known to have changed hands 3 times, selling at 2.67 million in 2002. Then after refurbishment, selling again in 2005 for 9 million.
Oh.
And then it sold again in excess of the guide price of 12 million when the Van Opels took over.
Wowzers.
Then we go to Will Tomson from Sheffield,
who has created his dream.
Wow, isn't it so beautiful?
Yeah, it's quite literally a wow.
It's this little hidden away sanctuary.
It's an oasis. I think it's quite literally, you know how last week I talked about paradise? It's my fun fact. That was paradise.
There is a real paradise feel to it. You can hear the birds singing, the bees buzzing. It seems to be packed with wildlife, and that was one of his main criteria of creating that garden.
Entirely.
And that incredible pond that he's made, the swimming pond.
/ kind of, it's almost a plunge pool.
More than that. It looked like you could get some good lengths out of it if you wanted to.
Yeah, you could. And a little diving board as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And he bought the house at auction. It was a blank canvas, he said. The gardens had lots of ground elder and long grass, which we can relate to a lot.
Definitely can relate to.
And he designed the garden with a big long border initially, and he used plants from his allotment, and then he was given some. And he started with a lot of kind of self-seeding things like the foxgloves, which are great for self-seeding.
Yeah. Have you seen that ours have self-seeded around the place a bit? You know how we had that patch kind of rectangle? The apple tree. Yeah, exactly. Because it came from a rectangular pot. I quite literally dug a rectangular hole, put the rectangularness into it, and boom, we had a very rectangular patch of foxgloves.
And they didn't stay very upright. They kept falling down the hill, didn't they?
That is our biggest problem. They just go towards where gravity takes them, so it's downwards. But they seem to have created this kind of clump, which is kind of like a worm going down the bed. It's kind of quite interesting. So I'm hoping that they're flowering this year. And I think I saw some flowering spikes coming up.
I'd be so happy if they sell seed everywhere.
I'd be so happy as well.
I really want them to get going.
Oh, I love them. So that was a plant that I was completely on board with in his garden. And he had his all over the shop. So there's this great repetition throughout the garden. And that was really lovely. And lots of calm colours of pinks and whites.
Yep.
I thought that was lovely. So he also had Angelica in there, which was this very pretty umbellifer, which he wanted to have squash kind of growing up underneath. And this was in the kind of veg part of his garden.
Yeah, I loved that.
And there was a Yorkshire fog grass. So he said this is the grass that he's just let grown. Has very pretty, slightly burnt coloured head, kind of going towards pinky tones. that was really dusty, kind of like.
Yeah, and he said how that came up as a result of, rather than cutting the lawn in totality, he made just paths through it, and if he hadn't done that, things like this Yorkshire foggrass wouldn't have come up. He didn't plant it, but that started to come up in the bits that he left bare. Yeah. And I say this every year, I'm going to just mow paths through ours.
Yes.
The reason I don't is because I get into quite a meditative state when I'm mowing.
Yeah, I think we're all right for you to be mowing it, because there are so many areas where we do let it kind of grow wild, and there are these kind of circles around the trees that we allow to grow wild, and there's a bank down the side,
banks, and
a semicircle at the bottom, and all these wild areas. And even, we do have to talk about this, my wildflower area.
Oh yeah. What's going on there?
Exactly. We had a little stroll in the garden yesterday, just to kind of get out, clear the head. We were both working. We went down to the flower patch, the wildflower area, and I was looking to see if any of my seed had started growing, and all of these seedlings had come up, and they were all, I don't know what's wrong with my scattering.
I don't know what's wrong with your scattering.
They were all in clumps.
So tightly packed together.
Really tight.
Massive clumps. Yeah. And you had mixed that flower seed mix with a load of sand, hadn't you?
Perlite.
So it was scattered, and you used a shaker.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have come out in clumps.
It was ridiculous, and I was just like, why? And so there were all of these clumps, and the worst thing about it is I cannot remember what I put in the wildflower shaker.
Do you think it's worth thinning those out and putting some in other parts of the wildflower bit?
No.
Okay.
Because I think I will get
too
other
much
things.
Work.
Too much work, because also there is a top tip. That is my top takeaway later in this programme.
Okay, I'll wait to hear that.
I think there will be other things that will come up, so hopefully it'll still look amazing.
Okay.
Also in his garden, there was a Corylopsis spicata, which was this spike witch hazel, very pretty lime leaves. Also,
he said it's very nicely scented, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So he has that on the main thoroughfares.
Yeah. And then he has this studio area which he added in this little cabin, and round there he has very pretty plants, rather calm colours. There was an Aquilegia called Yellow Queen.
That was pretty, wasn't it?
Wasn't
the little sort of dangly bits?
Yeah, I thought that would look lovely on Monty Don's mound. Oh
yeah, that would be a great one for there.
Because it's a perfect creamy yellow. Yeah. And there was I hope I say this right, Lamprocapnus spectabilis alba.
Yeah, formerly Dicentra alba.
Yeah, and it's one of the bleeding hearts, but it's a white one.
And its common name is Dutchman's breeches, one of the common names.
Yeah.
I think that's a much better name than Bleeding Heart. I think that's such a funny name, Dutchman's breeches. Describes it really well.
Yeah, they do.
Well, Tom describes himself as garden designer and maker, plants, wildlife and songwriter.
Yes.
Because we hear him play the piano at the beginning.
Exactly. I thought that was a lovely intro into his segment.
Yeah, I didn't think for a minute that it was him playing when we first heard the music. I thought it was just some great music that Gardener's World had on top.
Exactly. It was really, really pretty and perfect with his tranquil theme and kind of oasis garden.
And he's in a band called All at Sea. I don't know how current the band is, but you can find some of his music on SoundCloud. So I'll put a link to it on the pod description. But he says for his songwriting, he draws inspiration from the everyday weird and the might of nature. And one of his songs is called Underneath the Umbellifer. So I wonder if he was thinking about that Angelica when he was writing that song.
Oh, brilliant.
His website is called Creative Cultivation. Again, I'll put a link to that. And I just wanted to give you a bit of background, because we're always interested, aren't we, in how people got to their position within horticulture.
Oh, yeah,
because there seem to be so many different routes in. It's nice to know the diversity.
Yeah.
So he studied ecology at uni and then pursued work in conservation and then the arts, working at a charity with disadvantaged youth. And they would work to improve urban spaces using gardens and art installations. And that's where he got into garden design. So then he returned to studies at the Royal Botanic Gardens of Edinburgh and got his HND in horticulture and plantsmanship, and then started up his own business in Edinburgh. And then in 2017, he was accepted on the Triad Great Gardens of the World Fellowship Programme, which sounds incredible. it involved working in Japan, the US and the UK for a year.
Wow.
And then when he returned a year later, he worked with the garden designer Chris Beardshaw at his studio. Before then, he returned to his hometown of Sheffield to restart his creative cultivation studio business.
Yeah.
And that cabin that he's built on the land, he's actually a superhost on Airbnb. You can stay in that cabin.
Really?
Yep.
What a place. Like, we have got to go there, because what a place to be. Not just living in, it looked like a gorgeous little cabin.
Yeah.
Not just in there, but outside, waking up, looking out.
The cabin is gorgeous. It's really beautiful. It's all in wood, a really pretty little kitchen.
Oh.
It's got a bathroom which has a Japanese deep bathing bath in it.
Wow.
It's got an outdoor shower. It's also got a 4-person sauna. But from the cabin, from that decking, you look directly out onto the pond. And although Will is there as well in the other building that we saw, the cabin has its entirely own private bit of garden, so you're not overlooking each other.
God, this sounds like heaven.
So it's a real sanctuary to go to, and it's still accessible to other things. So it's a 15-minute walk to a train station.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got access to Sheffield and other sort of major hubs.
Brilliant.
So, and you're right on the doorstep of the Peak District.
Oh, lovely.
And then, of course, you've got that gorgeous swimming pond to dip into.
Oh, yeah, what fun.
So I'll put a link again to his, it's called Berrywell. Mm-hmm. So I'll put a link to his cabin on Airbnb. I'll put that in the pod notes. I would really, really love to stay there.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely stunning. It's totally secluded. Be gorgeous.
Yeah,
place.
We've got to make a personal trip up there.
For sure. We're back with Rachel, and she's under that huge laburnum arch. Stunning.
They're really beautiful. I've seen gorgeous photos of them, and they just look like dripping gold.
When they're all in flower, they'll look spectacular.
They're amazing.
And then Joe's working away in the veg garden.
Yeah, he had very specific instructions of what he needed to do, spacing them apart.
Yep,
with
very
a stick.
Precise.
Yeah, he had these cut and come again salads that he was popping in.
Yeah. And Matt employs apprentices, and I'm a huge advocate of apprenticeships. I think they're one of the best things we can offer people.
Yeah.
It's such a great route to a career.
It is.
And Rachel gets chatting to Ty. He was making a stunning structure for growing peas up, wasn't he, in the veg garden?
That was really pretty. He was twining and creating almost this protection barrier for the peas to grow up so that birds wouldn't get to them. And also looks pretty at the same time.
And then Rachel asks him about his apprenticeship, and he said he really enjoys the variation and the freedom of being outside. And then this is a common theme as well from a few people that I've spoken to. Matt's knowledge is second to none.
Yeah,
and
everyone says it.
I love Ty's attitude of how he just wants to suck out as much knowledge from Matt as he can. Just so lifts the spirits when you hear the Yoofs.
The Yoofs.
Spelt YOOF.
What?
Talking like that, you know, how they recognise that they've got this great opportunity and they're making the absolute most of it. Really, really lovely.
It's really cool.
And then Rachel talks to Ashton.
Yeah.
And he's working on that amazing laburnum arch. He's only 16 years old.
I know.
And he's learning so many skills already. He said he learns so much from Matt. He finds it fun working there as he has a laugh, but he still gets the job done.
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect environment to work in.
Really wonderful.
And then finally, Matt was showing off his favourite tools to Joe once Joe had finished his task. I thought these tools were really, really cool.
Funny little segment.
It was really weird. Very funny. Because Joe comes up and he says, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Just wanders over.
Yeah, and Matt's just happily hoeing away. He's got this really nice sharp hoe, working really well.
So they talk about his favourite hoe.
Yeah, then his bamboo rake, Japanese one.
Brought back from Japan.
Perfect for getting all the weeds from the surface. And then this rabbiting spade, which looked really nice. It was a little spade, kind of perfect size.
Sort of long and thin.
Yeah, for getting in and amongst things. And
I
can imagine that would be super useful in a border.
And then there was a comment that Matt made at the end, which correlates with what the apprentices were saying, which was that he really appreciates his team, who he says are all very hungry to learn. And then he just said this little comment at the end. He said it keeps it alive if you pass it on, and that's so true. We've got to keep the knowledge going. So I wanted to find out a bit more about Matt and find out again about his background and how he got to where he is.
Yeah.
So he was first inspired when he was 16 and he was on a British Schools Exploring Society expedition.
No
Never
way.
heard of that, but it sounds extremely cool.
No.
Especially because it was to Greenland, which you talked about the other week.
Super cool.
And he saw some Arctic poppies, sheets of cotton grass, Arctic willow herb and moss campion kind of all over the place.
Wow.
And then there were musk ox and Arctic foxes roaming around. And, you know, he was seeing all this beautiful nature doing its thing. His eyes were completely open to plants and the landscapes they grow in. So when he came back, school suddenly became irrelevant to him.
I can imagine.
It's just what your parents want to hear at that stage.
What is this weird thing called school? Crazy.
That would have been, in that moment, I imagine, for his parents, quite a depressing conversation. But it's all worked out, hasn't it?
Yeah, like really has worked
So
out.
there's a lesson to be learned there. And he left school to take up a 3-year apprenticeship at Ness Botanic Gardens, where he learnt about gardening and plant IDing.
Oh, yeah.
Then he went on to study at Myerscough College, RHS Wisley and at Kew. And this was interesting. He says, I didn't realise how much I had learnt until I went to college. That's one of the tragedies with horticulture nowadays. Not enough people get a decent apprenticeship before they go on to study horticulture.
Oh.
So you can see now why he's such a big advocate of apprenticeships.
Yes.
And it's like I always say
true.
with them, there's nothing better than learning on the job.
Oh, entirely.
Learn on the job, and then, you know, rather than just studying from books, being able, well, some people like you're great at studying from books.
But I would like to do the more practical work because I am very visual with those kind of things as well.
And it's just not just working on the theory, it's the actual practice of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then during his studies, he did several plant hunting trips in Europe, Asia and Africa, including the Himalayas, where he went on an expedition with Michael Wickenden, who we talked about the other week.
No way.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's a lot of links between
There is
everyone.
in this gardening world. It's a small world. And that stumpery we saw with Joe, he says was inspired by what he describes as the enchanted forest atmosphere created by the mosses and lichens that envelop the trees in parts of the Himalayan cloud forest.
Oh, lovely.
Then after his 3 years at Kew, he worked at Great Dixter for 6 years, which was the inspiration to Carl's Suki and his garden last week.
Yeah.
And after that, he moved to Malverleys, where he's been working with a team of 5 to transform that land.
That is amazing.
Next we're with Arit, and she goes to Mayfield Park in Manchester, which was built in 2022.
Yeah, it's in a very urban landscape. I've never quite seen so much industrialness around such a beautiful garden.
I loved that juxtaposition. I really thought it worked well together.
Yeah, it's quite something. It kind of makes you go, oh, crikey, wow.
6.5 acres of public park. It's home to 150 trees, 120,000 shrubs and plants, and has a kids' play park. Did you see that play park?
No.
Enormous. You know those metal slides that used to burn your butt on when it was in the height of summer?
Really burnt your butt.
It was made all of that. So this was Duncan Paybody from Studio Egret West. He's a landscape architect who created the park.
Yeah.
And he wanted to keep that industrial vibe with those slides.
That's why.
But there are some of the slides, some are enclosed, so
Yeah.
you won't burn your butt on the enclosed bits, just when you come off the end. And some of them are going over streams.
Whoa.
They were really big slides. You need to have another look, Sweet Pea.
Sounds like a place I need to go.
I know you. Well, I was going to say I know you're past the age of going on those
Yeah,
slides, but I don't think you ever are. You wanted me to do exactly that type of metal slide through our garden. Do you remember in the early days?
And I still think we should.
Meandering through.
We should use the gravity that we have on our side for once.
It's a very fast slide.
And it would be a black piste. It would be amazing.
Well, I'm going to put a link to an article in Gardens Illustrated that's all about Duncan's work with Mayfield Park.
Nice.
It's really interesting to hear how he came up with the ideas.
Yeah.
And then we meet with Tom Massey and Jay Ann.
Yes.
And they are using this park as inspiration for their Chelsea flower garden, aren't they?
Yeah, because they, at one point, this is really funny, there was a cut and then they were just standing. They were standing in the
traffic
park.
island.
And then they cut to then just, in the middle of a traffic island. Cars, buses, everything around them. There was like a train thing above and a building around them. And it was complete concrete. And Arit was just like, what are we doing here? This is mad.
And was that... I couldn't work out, is that where they're planning to transfer the garden after Chelsea?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
That's what I thought, at least.
Okay, I missed part of it because I couldn't fully comprehend what that part was for, other than to give an example of how abusive the environment can be for plants such as that traffic island.
It can.
Or if they're moving to it, which would be great if they do move.
I think they're moving the stuff to it because they then showed a really cool sketch. I love the sketches that they do for the gardens. They showed all these beautiful trees and this kind of mini oasis. So I can't wait to see what it looks like afterwards. I think it will transform that island, and people drive by. Hope there aren't too many car crashes because they're looking so much at the garden.
That's what would happen to you. Oh, what's that?
Oh, can't multitask.
And the main point in this was Tom and Jay planning to use AI tech,
this
sensors and monitors.
Yeah.
And then Tom shows us that sensor. He drilled a hole into the tree and inserted the monitor, and that was it.
That was it. And it was going to be measuring growth in microns,
which is 0.01 of a millimetre.
Tiny. Then any rock or lean that the tree is kind of undergoing, the humidity and the temperature, so all of these conditions that the tree has around it, and so that they can understand if the tree is healthy or not. And I think it's very interesting.
Well, it reminds me a bit of Andy's ICD. So we have a friend who had a cardiac arrest, and he's had an ICD, which is an implantable cardioverter defibrillator.
Oh, crikey.
Installed in his chest, so you can feel it. You touch his chest and you feel this little unit in there.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a little kind of small battery powered device which can detect and stop irregular heartbeats, and it sends all this data back to the hospital.
Wow.
And so it's an absolute life-saving device, especially since they have no idea what caused his cardiac arrest.
That's the worst.
Yeah, so really important getting all this data. So it kind of reminded me like that, little ICD for trees, really.
Yeah, exactly, telling you if the tree's going, this is not nice, I'm not happy, this is awful. And then the fact that they can use then QR codes to scan and with an app chat with the tree.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
We've talked so much about communication between trees and all of that. And it's interesting creating a communication between trees and humans, people, and I thought that was so cool. And there is another thing that is slightly communicated to humans, which I thought was it made sense entirely. You know how we always say you go out for a walk in the forest, you just feel so good, you're breathing in this air, it feels amazing, you walk out and you're just happy, you're calm and everything. I now completely understand what is going on here. So you know how trees are communicating underground and everything, they're also releasing certain molecules into the air, and there's some which are called phytoncides. Not sure if you heard of them, but when a tree is trying to protect itself, defend itself against predators or anything, and especially pathogens, so anything that's trying to hurt it, it releases this kind of chemical into the air. It is synthesized in the tree, and so it releases it. Other trees then can kind of communicate, and so you've got this molecule in the air, and when we are walking through forests, we're breathing in this kind of chemical. It's touching our hands, it's being absorbed into our body, and it actually helps us get rid of pathogens, because as it helps trees, it can help us at the same time, which is why we feel so great. And it's called it's the main subject of what is called, I think, silvotherapy.
Right.
And in Japanese it's called Shinrin Yoku.
Right.
And it's this whole idea of walking through a forest and you feel amazing because you have all of these chemicals and all of these things being kind of secreted from trees that you're absorbing in every part of your body. And you feel great afterwards.
Yeah.
I thought that was so utterly amazing. So that really is a form of the tree almost helping us in a way without knowing it.
Well, Yeah, we do know, though, how trees help us, don't we?
We do know it.
We did talk about that molecule from many moons ago on a recap we did last year when I was looking at the fun fact of how if a giraffe eats a tree at this end,
yes, completely,
it can notify the trees at the other end.
Oh, it's so cool.
Well, Tom Massey we've come across before. He was on Gardener's World 2024, episode 16.
Yes.
When he was mentoring the pocket planting teams for Hampton Court.
Yeah, which were beautiful.
And we'd actually been reading up about his and Jay's plans for Chelsea Flower Show, hadn't we, the other week before this episode?
Yeah, you had.
I can't remember how that came about, why I was looking into that. But anyway, it's really interesting, the whole AI debate. And a very, very, very good article that's worth reading is in The Spectator by Isabel Harmon. She really goes into it in quite some depth.
Oh, cool.
About the rows that are blowing up over the use of AI in the garden. And I had noticed on some of the comments of Gardener's World's social media on Facebook and Instagram, there were some really quite angry voices in there.
Yeah.
Not at all happy that Tom Massey is using AI for his garden.
It is a big debate, and I do find it interesting from both the point of view of saying absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because the garden is meant to be this tranquil space. It's meant to be it's meant to be natural. Mm-hmm. And you just one with what is just there and is living. It's a living organism. And then AI can be something so toxic, especially with so much social media. I know that ChatGPT is becoming such a big thing at schools, especially, just so that you don't have to do your homework. And so we then are using less and less of our brain. So there are so many of these things against AI.
There's so many things against. And I think and I'm going to pull out some bits from Isabel's article, read the whole thing in its entirety, but I'll just pull out some of the points that resonated with me. Yeah. Because what Tom says in it is that, well, AI is here to stay. Yeah. So we've got to somehow work with it. But the article starts by saying, and I'll just read this verbatim, "The gardening world is a gentle, friendly space. Rows are rare, with disagreements creeping in softly like moss, not blowing up the way they do in politics. Everyone is quite nice to one another, almost to a fault, which is why the row over Tom Massey's AI garden at the Chelsea Flower Show is quite so striking." So that's how the article starts.
Interesting.
And then it goes on to mention that, well, I then fell down this absolute rabbit hole of rows that have happened in the gardening world.
Oh, because you can so easily.
Well, I didn't know that there was all this goss going on.
Gossip.
So I won't dwell on it too much, but I got stuck in this thing where Isabel says about how the last major row was back in 2007 when Dermot Gavin, he was like a TV gardener. I think he was on with the crew like Alan Titchmarsh. It's before your time. Okay. I used to watch it when I was at uni. I think he was also on with Charlie Dimmock. I could be wrong. But anyway, one of these garden transformation teams that came on. Irish, and myself and my boyfriend at the time just thought he was just such a lovable character. Turns out he's a real feisty character. Really? And he causes all sorts of drama in the gardening world. But he locked horns with Andy Sturgeon, who's a gardener who Tom Hoblin mentioned in his chit-chat with us.
Remember that.
But apparently they had some kind of bitter feud over plagiarism and all sorts of things. And then Dermot started playing really dirty against Andy, really taking some
like how dirty
low
are we going?
Blows. Just nasty
potting compost and
nasty stuff, and it nearly ended up in court, but they settled out of court. But I just got in such a rabbit hole about Dermot and how he gets into all these arguments. He accused Bunny Guinness, who was also showing a garden at Chelsea, calling her two-faced, snobbish, elitist and rude. She said he was abusive and a nasty piece of work. I mean, it just blew my mind because I've always thought gardens and gardeners and gardening. Very chill. No. Peace. Oh my goodness me, there's some feisty characters.
That is hilarious.
Anyway, Tom Massey is collaborating with Microsoft. So one accusation is that he's sold out to big tech. And then other accusations are that AI might replace the skilled and kind of undervalued work of a gardener. And you can understand that
because
because
a very good point.
It's not like, and actually Isabel mentions this later on, it's not like in medicine where, it can AI ever take over from surgeons or whatever.
Yeah.
Surgeons are kind of, they're bigged up. If you say you're a doctor, then you're, oh gosh, a doctor. Well, they've worked really hard and studied. Gardeners, all those who with their horticultural qualifications have worked, as long as an accountant has worked, for example, have done a 3-year course, many years more, and have done apprenticeships and have travelled studying and learning so much more, and yet it's just kind of undervalued. So if AI then comes along, it brings the profession down more. So I can completely understand that side of it.
Because can you imagine, all you'd have to do as a gardener was just chat with the tree, go, how you doing? It says I'm not feeling great, you water it or whatever, and then it's fine.
Yeah. And then another one, and this was interesting and I hadn't thought about this, another argument against AI is that it's a particularly water intensive technology, so it requires vast amounts of water for its cooling towers, and the irony is that Tom's garden is for water aid.
So that
is quite interesting. It brings a sort of different level to things. Anyway, Tom's counter argument is that, like it or not, AI is here, and that he's hoping to be part of a movement that could build something that might inspire and might genuinely be useful and might actually aid the industry rather than work against them.
Yeah.
He's had people approach him about the fear of their job security and fair pay for skilled professionals.
Yeah.
But he sees the AI garden as being a way of making sure that tech can be used to help plants to thrive in hostile environments, such as the built-up urban areas. So them standing in the middle of this roundabout, and they pointed to a tree that was there.
Yeah.
And they said, it's just so hostile. So he mentions that research done by Dark Matters Labs showed that up to half of trees planted in urban environments die within 10 years. And Isabel goes on to say that's quite a generous estimate.
Yeah.
She talks about how gardening expert John Little once gave a lecture at the Beth Chatto Symposium a few years ago, where he talked about how there's this big fanfare whenever a tree is planted. So you get all these dignitaries standing around this tree.
Yes.
They're digging the hole, not getting their shoes dirty at all.
No.
Dig the hole, place it in, and then it's whoop, whoop. Awesome work, well done, guys.
Yeah.
And then nothing's done.
What?
To look after that tree afterwards.
Oh, that's
so more
ridiculous.
often than not, they die. And so John Little's argument is that, you've got these dignitaries planting a tree, the photos are taken, everyone goes away, and then no one looks after it. The tree dies, total waste of money.
Yeah.
That perhaps less money should be spent on the garden itself and more on someone looking after it so it still exists in years to come, which, is a very valid argument.
Very valid.
And so Isabel makes the case for AI by saying, on the back of what John Little said at that symposium, where there is no council budget for maintenance once the tree planting fanfare is over, AI can be put in place at lower cost.
Okay.
And so those plants, trees, can be maintained after with a sort of lower maintenance basis.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not an either side of this kind of debate.
There are arguments both sides,
but I definitely don't, because my arguments against it is that I don't want to be out in the garden knowing that there is something tracking my plants with sensors and using technology. I want to just know that it's a very green, very natural area, that there's no kind of, how phones give off certain wavelengths that we're kind of absorbing all the time. Yeah. I don't want to be in the garden knowing that there are certain technologies around me, so that it isn't a space where I can completely let my body just absorb
That's
stuff.
Such an interesting point, Sweet Pea, and goes hand in hand with what you were saying about trees and what they give off. That's what you want to surround yourself with, and how that's beneficial to human health.
Yeah.
We know that all these radio waves and various tech waves flying around us aren't good.
They're really not good, no.
That's a very, very good point.
So I think that's my kind of main thing against it, and also the worst thing would be to become dependent on these little gizmos to look after our trees if we can't keep the correct knowledge on how to look after something.
And therefore be able to use the holistic approach to managing our planet, really.
Yeah.
Very interesting, and I think this is an argument that will rumble on for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away whilst and AI isn't going anywhere.
Exactly. It's very much here.
back to Malverleys, and we've got pots and pots and pots and pots of tulips.
Pots and pots and pots. There were loads of them. And Rachel was looking at them because this is apparently a trialling / testing area where Matt can choose the cultivars and the varieties that he likes best for the garden.
How lovely to be able to do that, right?
How fun. And it looks amazing anyways.
To have the money to do that.
Yeah. And it looked amazing, even though it was just kind of this back
tucked
away. But Rachel said how there were some of her favourite varieties. There was Princess Irene, Healthcare, and Black Hero, which was a really deep kind of purpley colour. Love that. And then she actually went over to just next to the pots where she decided to prune back this edible grape, which needed a bit of chopping.
Pops on her glasses.
Yes.
Which I'm always having to do now. In fact, I took what I thought were beautiful photos of some roses, and
yesterday.
Yeah, I took them without my glasses on, and now I've looked at them with my glasses and I can see their right state. I'll put that picture on the Instagram page. But in my world, without my glasses, everything's beautiful. Everyone's got perfect skin.
Yeah.
No one's got enlarged pores.
No.
No one's got any scars or wrinkles. Everyone is beautiful.
I know.
And so is every flower in my garden. It is perfection.
It's why I always have to get you to double check. Like, I can say to you, oh, have I done, like, if I've painted my nails or something, I can say, how do my nails look nice? And you'll
perfect,
be like,
darling.
Absolutely bliss. And there'll be like nail polish going up my hands and everything.
Then you get my glasses for me.
Yeah.
But she has the problem, I imagine, like I do, which is it's fine when you're pruning upright, but as soon as you bend down to do something below, your glasses shoot up onto your forehead and you see nothing again.
That is really bad.
Then Joe's having some more cheeky bounce in the topiary garden.
Bounce.
He's trying to figure out what some of them are. A squirrel, a bird, and then Rachel did Thame as a ballerina.
Apparently, I don't know where he got that one from.
He's being an absolute rascal on this episode, isn't he?
So funny.
And then he points out the hedge.
Yeah, the anonymous Elatus compactus.
He said he's always putting that in gardens because it's brilliant for bees, and it also turns this beautiful scarlet red in the autumn. Gorgeous
amazing.
A bit like the Virginia creeper.
Yeah, precisely.
Beautiful red.
Against this beautiful blue sky.
Yeah.
That is something else.
Then we go into the pond garden.
Yeah.
And Joe is thinning out plants, making a point of going easy on it because of all the wildlife, which is something that really worries me.
And leave things on the side before composting them.
And he's thinning out water soldiers, which was Eddie Bailey's water plant, Eddie Bailey from Rhizophilia. And he told us all about this on his chit chat with us.
Yeah, type of aloe.
That would be his water plant of choice.
Looked really, really interesting. I never saw it before. But the thing that blew me away was this amazing underwater close-up shot of a newt.
Oh, gorgeous, wasn't it?
How cool was that?
Then we go over to Derbyshire Peak District with the most gorgeous Maggie, retired nurse, and Mon, her wife of 17 years, a chef.
I think this warmed the nation's hearts.
This is what I want to see.
Oh,
this is what I'm talking about.
This is awesome. No AI. We were just boshing it with veg and incredible vegetables.
And again, throwing the rule book out the window.
Yeah.
And I think I've connected the dots between you talking about your wildflower area and cramming them all in together.
Now you've got it.
And what Maggie and Mon do with their plants.
Yeah. So I will talk about those in a little bit because they had so many different things going on and they wanted to show them all off as well. They had amazing cauliflowers, which they had a technique of stringing them up the leaves, creating this kind of duvet around the cauliflower to keep them nice and white. And so when they opened them up, they were this beautiful white cauliflowers, perfect size.
I think Maggie described it as like a sun hat for them.
Yeah, exactly. They had gorgeous onions, which apparently had best hairstyles ever.
Everything looked like it had been bought from a supermarket.
Yeah.
Massive. Like the ones that I see in a supermarket and they're not organic and they're out of season. I think, oh, dodgy stuff's gone on here to produce
dodgy stuff.
An onion that looks this good or a beetroot that looks this good at this time of year.
But they did that.
Theirs are out of their allotment.
I have no idea. And the beetroot and the carrots, they were amazing and they were huge. And this is what I was talking about. Not thinning out.
They didn't thin out their carrots or anything.
They're still going to, with their elbows, barge their way through. the surface, and they still look utterly amazing. So I'm not going to be doing anything out because it's time consuming for nothing. Well, when you think about it.
Let's see if that works.
I think it will work.
And just back on those brilliant looking cauliflowers, they used a liquid seaweed as well, which I thought was interesting.
Really, really good. It was the Andromeda variety, because they tried other varieties before, hadn't worked as well, and these ones just were perfect.
I'd like to try Andromeda.
Yeah, we've just been doing the purple broccoli. That's our only brassica that we're doing at the
previous
moment.
years we've done cauliflower, but they've never looked anything as good as this. Been delicious though.
No, nothing like that.
And their beetroot they netted, didn't they?
Yeah, netted the beetroot, didn't thin them out. Carrots were also netted. And they were just looking really, really healthy.
They
funny legs.
They said if they come out looking like a body or a spaceship or an alien with 6 legs, it doesn't matter.
I love it. It's also quite fun. It's like, oh, what am I going to get this time? It's very different.
And then they said, and if it can't be chopped, it'll be mashed. And then both of them just cracked up about that.
Oh, really,
I want to be in their world.
I want to be in their world.
It's a really happy, cheerful world, isn't it? They really made me laugh. And then Maggie, I think Mon plays the straight guy to Maggie.
Yeah.
So it's Bert and Ernie. No, not Bert and Ernie. Eric and Ernie.
Eric and Ernie.
So I think they're like Eric and Ernie, because then Maggie, they're trying to find uses for all parts of the plant.
Oh, goodness
you
me.
can use your carrot tops for instead of parsley, for example. And they come up with various other things, and then they look at the leeks and they go, what can you use the leeks for?
Goodness me.
And Maggie says you could make a whistle, and then you've got her
trying.
And poor Mon, because you are a clown.
Just go, what is going on here?
And Maggie still carries on, and Mon goes, behave now. Oh gosh, I loved them so much.
Oh goodness me. Yeah, I mean, some of the better ones were using pea pods for stock.
Yes,
that was
makes
better
sense.
Use. And then she went and talked about courgette leaves as umbrellas. What was going on there?
Why not?
Oh my gosh. Then the other thing that really, really cracked me up was using the local coffin firm and using the kind of wood scraps from there.
Great idea, though. You've got to get your wood from somewhere, and if it's not treated, then why not?
Yeah, I am on board with this. I think it's very, very cool. But
why does a coffin firm have so many scraps of wood? That's what I'm interested in. I guess offcut. Well, no, but then offcuts aren't much good for making beds. They had really good, decent planks of wood for their beds.
Or were they using the coffins?
Maybe the person didn't die after all, so the coffin wasn't needed. Made a miraculous recovery. I don't know, it's going down a dark road. Let's carry on about veg.
But I thought that was a great use of wood for the raised beds.
I liked when Mon said with the potatoes it's like panning for gold. I think it was Mon who said that.
Yeah.
It completely is. There's nothing more fun than delving around in the dirt finding a potato, is there?
It is so much fun.
Treasure hunt.
Bar if you have purple potatoes, then it is like trying to find mud.
Yeah, very hard to find those. But they are tasty.
It's really, really tasty.
Did you get the potatoes?
It was the Pentland Javelin potato.
Yeah, they were very successful.
Oh, yummy.
And they've been so successful with all their produce that they've even had to buy a new freezer to keep it on. That's exactly the point I want to get to, where my freezer is too full. I will happily buy a chest freezer if we get loads of veg.
Yeah, we actually, because loads of the seeds now, courgettes have got their first proper leaves on, their corn as well are all ready to go. So lots of things to now put out in the veggie garden.
Oh, great.
And we've got to completely raise this bed of all the carrots and beetroot and leeks and onions. We've got to get them all out, and I think we're going to be back freezing.
Happily, can't wait for that. And finally, Mon and Mags are asked at the same time, who has the last word?
Oh, that was brilliant.
And simultaneously, Mon says Mags and Mags says neither. And then looks absolutely shocked and horrified.
Mortified. How dare you?
Well, I did find Maggie and Mon Kirby from Ashbourne. I found them online.
Oh, brilliant.
Mon works at Haddon Hall in Bakewell, and where she's a chef. And Maggie's a retired staff registered nurse from Royal Derby Hospital.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have a huge amount of information on them, but I would very much like to chat to them some more. So I will see if I can get hold of them.
Oh, please
Watch
try.
this space.
Watch this space.
Fingers crossed. Finally at Malverleys, we're in the Cloisters garden, and there's Irina, who moved there from the Ukraine 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And she's been working in this garden for most of that time.
Yeah,
what
she
a
has.
Great opportunity.
Amazing. She talked about many differences between Ukrainian gardens.
Yeah, I thought that was such a good question that Joe asked, because it's just what I'd like to know.
I would love to know, and how the English gardens are kind of less formal, but at the same time kind of have lots of different shapes and forms and textures in them, and
more naturalistic.
Yeah, exactly. She really loved that.
Whereas in the Ukraine, everything must be perfect looking.
Yeah.
Which I can imagine, but I'd love to see some examples of some Ukraine gardens.
Yeah, I'd really love to. Can you imagine going around the world seeing all these different gardens? I think that would be so amazing.
And then Joe asks how it is working with Matt.
Yeah.
Probably hoping for a bit of dirt on Matt, but nope. Once again, she absolutely loves working with him.
Yeah.
And interestingly, she says how she would normally just work and not really notice anything around her. And he is saying, just slow down and enjoy it, take things in. And that's just the best boss to have, right?
I'd love a boss like that. How amazing.
They have a beautiful basket full of flowers. So there's got some blossom from a cherry.
Yeah, the cherry Fugenzo. So they went round together picking all these flowers. So they got the cherry Fugenzo, and they're cutting these in the morning. They had then some Honesty, the annual one.
Lots of Honesty. And
also the perennial one, the Lunaria rudiviva, which is rather pretty and very pale. There were also some tulips that they got in there. And they took them over to Matt and Rachel.
Well, they took them over to the florist, and that just happens to be Matt, who seems to be a master of all trades.
Yep.
And Rachel, who we know is heavily into her floral arrangements.
She did a really pretty arrangement.
They both did. Very different, both beautiful, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. There was some...
Matt's was quite ethereal.
Yeah.
It was rather beautiful.
And Rachel's had this kind of bright orange within this kind of dark black colour, and then the limey green, and I just thought...
Some bright red in there as well from the tulips.
Yeah, all together. Yeah, Matt added the Sperry into his... which is actually what we have. It's called Meadow Sweets, and we've got the Bridal Wreath one. And that is what is cascading in white blooms in our garden.
That's looking amazing right now. I'll put some photos on our Instagram.
It is amazing.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the other thing that Matt did was batter the end of the woody plants so that they can draw up water better.
Exactly. Have less of a clean cut. And then finally, Joe went to the dahlias, talked about how... They have a different technique.
Another totally different technique.
Yeah, which seems like a far easier technique.
Yep.
Lift them in the autumn, then pot them up dry as a bone.
Yep.
In compost. Dry. Like you would as if you're putting it into sawdust.
Yeah.
Keep it. And then when it comes to when you want them to pop up again, you just water them using the technique of watering.
Although I don't think that's necessary to water away from the dahlia, because you're not washing the dahlia tuber anywhere, are you?
I think it's very much firmly in
place.
Yeah.
And then we're on to jobs for the weekend.
Yes.
So we have support peonies.
Yep, using hazel in dome forms.
But we've actually made some out of our grapevines, and they work very well as well.
They do work really well.
And then prick-out seeds and net brassicas.
Yes.
And then the final shot is Lorelei and Claude handing over a couple of beautiful bouquets to Joe and Rachel.
Yeah.
Aren't they lucky?
So lucky. And meanwhile, we've got the dog snoring in the
dog
background.
is now snoring.
I've told her to be quiet, but she's just very happy.
She's very content.
Yeah.
Right, Sweet Pea, your favourite plant from this episode?
It was the Stachyurus chinensis, that beautiful curtain of gold.
Well, this is bad news because that was also mine.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I could also go with Maggie and Mon's cauliflower because I thought they looked spectacular.
And I think I could also go with the beautiful Princess Irene tulip.
Okay, yeah.
That was very nice.
And your top takeaway?
Well, not thinning any seeds.
Yeah, so again from Mon and Maggie. And mine's from Mon and Maggie because it's actually wrapping the cauliflower heads to stop it getting scorched.
They were full of top takeaways.
Yeah, they were awesome. Right then, so next week.
What have we got?
Gardener's World comes From the spectacular RHS Morven Spring Festival in Worcestershire, Adam Frost and Sue Kent explore show gardens bursting with clever ideas and creative planting, sharing expert advice and tips to try at home. There's a visit to Devon to meet the master grower who's turning the spotlight on the majestic Camassia, a spring flowering star, and get a first look brand new cultivars being shown to the public for the very first time. Plus the moving story of a first-time designer who's using bold, exotic planting to share a deeply personal experience of recovery and resilience, creating a show garden that aims to move as much as it inspires. And there's a chance to discover the secret world of terrariums with a man whose miniature green worlds are filled with tiny jewel-like plants, perfect inspiration for small spaces or indoor planting.
Wow.
All set against the dramatic backdrop of the Morven Hills, a spring celebration not to be missed.
That does sound amazing.
Which unfortunately we will be missing because we have another event on that weekend.
Of course we do.
Very frustratingly.
Yep.
That's it for this week's Sweet Pea.
Yes. And just wanted to say, please, if you enjoyed this podcast, like and subscribe. It always makes us very happy.
That would be awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you for listening.
Yes.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Mummy Bear.